Hello, Tuberubers and tuberettes alike. Thought I'd give you one more look at the title on that book. I did a little video review sort of today at welcome you Tuberubers and tuberettes alike. It's kind of a bright morning out here. I got my darkies on, and I got my rock set up. It's just a little work today. It's a Friday morning, and I got the morning off. So anyhow, I thought, well, I'll come out to the park and warm up a little bit, maybe walk around, maybe read some book for a while. And anyway, I looked at the official algorithm today, and I tell you what, I am disgusted once again at this so-called administration that we have currently in office. If you have looked around in the news at all in the last few days, you're seeing truck bombings, which don't make a whole lot of sense, by the way. I mean, what was the point of that bomb that went off in Vegas, anyhow? I mean, yeah, a couple of people got hurt. Was the Trump Tower even damaged? I don't know. But the officials who are investigating are trying to pin something on a Green Beret, and I don't know if the guy did anything or not. But the only thing I know for sure is that I do not trust a word, not a word, that comes out of this so called administration, especially if the Phoebes are involved. As an example, Phoebe wants to say, we know this and we know that, but you know what? We already know that the Phoebes' butts are for sale and they've been sold like a cheap ass whore. They are not a law enforcement agency. They're a criminal organization, among other things. So, I mean, I've lost entire faith in the administration. If you even want to dignify the treacherous gang with such a word. But anyhow, I wander from the topic a bit. Your Hands Can Heal You is a pretty interesting book. I've only gotten into it maybe a third of the way or so. It's been 4 or 5 days, and I'm taking it slow because there's a lot of information in there. And I'm thinking, well, it might be actually appropriate. Maybe some other folks somewhere else might benefit from this. This guy's big into energy work. And by the way, this guy, Master Stephen Coe, has got a whole slug of videos on this algorithm. Just look him up over there. He's an interesting guy. Boy, very energetic dude, too. He's actually quite entertaining to observe. And when he gets going on one of his healing things, it looks weird, man. Looks like he's pulling giant noodles out of people and stuff. I don't know whether this is real or not, but it sure looks impressive. But I was thinking, well, maybe Your Hands Can Heal You kind of thing might be an appropriate topic given the fog. Now, here in southern New Mexico, if we will peruse this guy, the other day, the lines in the air which do not exist, today looks pretty clear. There's a few little streaky type clouds, and some of those look sketchy to me, but like this stuff up here, I don't know, maybe that's real, maybe it's not. But anyhow, around the world, especially in the East Coast of the U.S. and East Coast and over in Great Britain, in a lot of places, there's this, they calling it fog. Fog my ass. There's no such thing as a fog that is not built out of water vapor. This stuff's dry. It's a chemical product, and at night, if you'll shine a good flashlight into it, you can see the chunks of crap floating by. And now, what's the EPA doing about this? This air quality issue? Squat. What are they saying about it? Squat. What's the media saying about it? Squat. And so you know that they're behind it. They're somehow involved here. I put the finger right on DARPA, those treacherous frauds, and this is making me ill just to think about it. What they're doing to people with this nasty fog, so called. Well, I think that's just the beginning. This is 2025 now. Well, Happy New Year late, I guess. And I'm just sitting there thinking, well, this is the way this year is beginning with a couple of weirdo episodes of domestic terror, which, by the way, frankly, just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. If you're going to terrorize something, then do it right with a great bomb. But anyhow, this thing was mostly fireworks and stuff. It's just weird. But the point being, the fog it lingers, and I mean for days and days. From what I've seen on these reports around the world, and it's making some people sick. Surprisingly enough, people say this stuff smells funky. It has a chemical aroma. One guy compared it to after you shoot off a bunch of fireworks. Uh, I don't know exactly what that odor is in the air, but I'm sure you smelt it. Other people say it smells like other things, but whatever it is, it's not natural, not at all. And our so-called leadership, uh, who is responsible for the welfare of the people of this nation, are strangely silent. Gee, who saw that one coming? And so, at any rate, I'm thinking to myself that it might be time, it might behoove you, as it were, to think more about energy medicine kind of things, that things that you can do for yourself that are not intrusive, that are not invasive, that do not involve drugs, um, and do something for you that will energize you, make you feel a little more jazzed up. Now today we're going in. I'm starting late at 2 in the afternoon, and we're going to work on into the night. We got a evening episode. Apparently, somebody in plumbing land was smoking dangerous chemicals once upon a time when they did this Starbucks, and so they got a back-to-back deal with one side's a mop basin, the other side's a floor sink. Never mind, you don't need to know the difference, but anyhow, the short version being, it just ain't right. So we're going to get in there with a jackhammer, and then we're going to saw up the floor. Of course, it's concrete, and blow it up and see what we can find down there tonight, and hopefully get it rerouted, replumbed, and reconnected, and reburied, and reconcreted all before tomorrow morning. We'll see how that goes. So anyhow, I've been doing a little better if you care about the old health issues of old farts, and the episodes of being able to get up and even walk in the mornings are becoming a little more frequent. I can actually move around in the mornings some, and boy, whatever that is that stove up rear of my legs and my calves and stuff. Oh, the other day it was just tell you a quick story. It was New Year's Eve day. So we got off early that day too. I didn't know why. I was like, who cares about getting off for that? But anyhow, by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I could barely walk. My legs were just concrete. And I mean, it was like this 3 alarm thing down there, and they were just these cramps that would not go away. And so I soaked them down real good. I mean, my feet in some Epsom salts, and just, light, nice, real warm water. And that brought me down off of that for a little bit. But the day following New Year's Day, oh, I was gimping around. It wasn't the stiffness anymore. I'd actually just damaged those muscles. Because when you got to muscle this, if you can imagine, say, tensing up your forearm as tight as you can, you're holding on for dear life. Now get that amount of tenseness and turn it off. You can't. It won't go away. It won't relax. It can't relax. It's just, that's creepy. So yeah, that's what I've been dealing with, and that's what happens when you get to be old, I guess. But had a good chit chat with the doc, and he's put me on yet another med for this BP stuff. This time, thinking about the prostate some. That's what I've been telling the guy for 2 months now, and finally I think he agreed. So we're going to try a new protocol for a couple of 2 weeks to see if those blood pressure numbers will come down more reliably, and we'll see all about that. But anyway, the thing I've learned so far from this book, and this is kind of what I wanted to share with you. If you're feeling like you kind of need a little energy boost, a little up, a little down. First of all, well, if you can get out of the fog, if you can get into daylight. I thought I heard somebody walking by. That's weird. Hearing imaginary people go by. It's the worst kind. If you can get out of the so-called fog, and get some sunshine in you, there's power. He calls it prana, and in the Oriental Chinese system, it's more called chi or ki in Japan. And I guess I knew some of these things already, but anyway, Mr. Ko is a very informative author, and he's quite lucid. Actually, his writing makes sense in English, so he had a good editor, I guess. But he's a native speaker. He's not stumbling over the language. But anyway, the moral of the story being that we're going to have to take, I believe, more in this year, more active stance to participate in our own health and welfare, and forget about those stupid paper masks. We may have to rush out and get some full-tilt gas masks. Ugh, these people, ugh. And the traitors and liars, frauds who are involved. And you know, I'm willing to guarantee, I'm willing to put my finger right on the tech came out of DARPA. Those frauds, they're into all kinds of garbage and weather modification. Ugh, yeah. You want to piss a gringo off? Start me off on that. But the people like Gates in this world, and remember the Georgia Guidestones, which strangely disappeared. Uh, they're talking about kind of weeding out the human population a little bit down to say 500 million. What? That'd be like 1 out of 18 people on the planet surviving. That's their goal. Well, who's behind that? And are they actively kicking it into gear now? Because I mean, by 2030, their goal, whoever they are, these treacherous frauds, is to weed out the unnecessary, like I guess you might call them, as in the old Nazi days, useless eaters. That's what Hitlerites called the Jews in those. Well, not only just the Jews, but yes, the Jews, the Mormons, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Gypsies, the mentally retarded, all of the physically handicapped. These were the targets of the regime in the 30s in Germany, and they were called useless eaters. And I have a feeling we have some of that same ideology operating today in high places. And the thing is that it's all about the money. Every one of these has been paid off, bought and sold like a cheap ass whore. That's what our so-called leaders have become. So people said they were sick of it, and they elected DJT in, and I sure hope we can make some good difference here. But I'm not hanging my hat on one man. He's a good man, but he ain't Superman. And considering the odds he's operating against and the powers that he's opposed to, he's going to be fighting an uphill battle. And so I think we should definitely pray for the man, pray for his administration, that safety and sanity and truth and justice would prevail, that the corruption of the last 4 years and the lies of the last 4 years would be brought out into the open and prosecuted, that these foes of righteousness would be jailed, preferably for life, or if you know what I mean, the other way, by the neck. Well, let's face it, that ain't going to happen. These people have, in their humanity, have outlawed the death penalty, and well, I think I know why. It was rather self-serving, I believe, in the long run. But anyhow, I just wanted to kind of talk to you some this morning, and sorry about the darkies, but I mean, the glare out here is just a little wild, and I just thought, well, I would love to sit in the sun and soak up a little rays, and that's what I'm doing. And I'll read a few chapters, maybe a few pages of a chapter, I don't know, and then head off to work here this afternoon and see if we can bang up that floor and figure out what those goons did down below grade, and get it all put back together so that tomorrow morning the Starbucks can open up and sell their Mojo and Gojo stuff. And frankly, I don't care. Overall, it's overpriced coffee, but it's all frou-frued up and chocolatized, and it's not even recognizable as coffee in my opinion, but that's just one old gringo's opinion. So you guys have a good day, and the thing is that be prepared. Apparently 2025 is going to be an ugly booger. We thought 2024 was weird. Yeah, it was. Here, hold my beer. 2025 might come down and just as the true Bizarro Pants episode. And I think so many people, not only here in the U.S., but around the world, are counting on this new administration to, like the guy down in Argentina, what's his name, Melo or something like that? He's turned that economy around in 1 year. They had like some of the worst inflation in all of South America, maybe in all of the world. He said, no, we're not doing that no more. And he put a halt to it. And so the runaway inflation of the so-called administration, well, it's temporary, it's man-made, and it will go away. But in the meantime, the forces that are arrayed against the right and honest and true are powerful indeed. And so, as a Christian believer, you have an opportunity and a responsibility to stand up and do the right thing and say the right thing. This is unforgivable. This is evil, and the bastards in government who are behind this, and the traitors and foes who are involved at high places, billionaires, they need to pay, and they need to pay big time. And the people, they will figure it out in time. They'll figure it out in time that fog without water ain't fog. It's chemical. Do a chemical analysis, folks. Find out what's in that junk, and then trace the source. How'd they get it in the air? Was it aerosol spraying? I don't know, but it ain't. It's not a natural phenomenon, not at all. And there's no reason. There's no reason at all for the citizens of this land or any land to put up with this bullshit. And I think heads need to roll. What do you say? Have a good day and run to win.